Good afternoon, and welcome to the City of Glens Falls Water and Sewer Commission meeting. It's Tuesday, January 2nd at 2 p.m. We begin the meeting with public participation. Anybody here from the public like to join us and speak up? Please let us know your name and your address. Not seeing anybody here. Peter, anybody online? Let us know if somebody pipes in, okay? And second on our agenda is our stormwater moment. I look forward to these, Bill.
Okay, this is a quick one today. It's basically talks about car washing and everything that's, salt and dirt and metal fragments and anything that can be, washed off of your car on impervious surfaces. Can make its way down into the stormwater system and then out to the tributaries or the streams, lakes, rivers, oceans, or anywhere that the stormwater makes its way to carry all that material. So when you're thinking about washing your car, thinking about where you're doing it, how you're doing it. So,
It's funny how most people don't know that stormwater is actually water that makes it back into the water table,
yes,
as opposed to sewer water.
And it appears we'll be talking about car washing under discussion also.
Great. Any questions? I'm not seeing any. Our next item is resolutions. We have one resolution, which is an approval of the minutes of our December 4th, 2023 meeting. Any questions about the minutes? Changes? Not here, seeing that. Does anybody have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Resolution passes. For our discussion points, so the first is January 16th workshop will be a special meeting, and the warrant will be presented at that meeting.
Yes, due to a couple of vacations and holiday scheduling, we were unable to get the warrant prepared for this meeting, so we will move it to the workshop. So it'll be roughly, instead of a month's worth, it'll be roughly about 6 weeks worth of
Is there anything drastic on it that needs it?
No, I don't think so. The only thing I think that I'm not sure if it made that warrant or not would be the, and I don't believe it did, was the UV system. But I think Mary Beth and Jason were working that out about it. I think that's already been invoiced, so I can't think of anything. We think anything big on the warrant coming up, Shannon?
Not that I'm aware of.
I was gonna say we could always do a phone vote on the warrant if somebody needed to be paid right away.
Yeah, is there something
Oh,
that?
Not that we can just do.
No.
That's fine.
It's
That's
It's
just
gotta be a
trying to
regular special
streamline it a
meeting.
little bit.
Yeah, it's gotta be a special meeting.
No.
Okay, so.
All right, and we'll have it at the meeting, and that the water and sewer budget was approved by the common council at the last
Saw the paper,
council
yeah.
resolution, so we're set there. B is an update on the electrical system upgrade.
Yes, we met, I believe, Thursday the 21st. Yeah, 21st. With Ray Pierce, went over the 30% drawings and had a great meeting. Christian was there, Chris, Jason, Jeremy, we were all there, including John Goldie on the call. We were very satisfied with their progression through 30% drawings and the approach they were taking. There was a lot of discussion back and forth on whether we thought the way they were heading was appropriate, and we thought so, and about locating a couple of different things, about putting up a new building to house the electrical. And that was a part of the main conversation. Also was sourcing the generators and what kind of fuel we were going to use, whether it was going to be diesel or gas. And they had diesel, but we had suggested that we wanted the gas because we have the gas on site, natural gas generators. So those were the two big things that we discussed. So now we'll wait and they'll progress on their design. I'll probably meet again at their 60%, and see where they are and move forward on that.
How long would you expect the next meeting to
I'm
get
hop-
from 30 to 60?
I'm hoping to see something probably by mid-March.
Okay. Time for St. Patrick's Day.
Sounds good to me.
Any questions? Next is the Elm Street project update.
Okay, they've completed the section of Elm between South and Pine, and that's as far as they're gonna go this winter. They're gonna wait till spring to continue with that. They paved, got most of the stormwater system in on that section of the street. Got all the catch basins in, got all the paving in. We're in discussion with them because some of the catch basins with the backing wasn't completed with the with the curbing, so we're afraid during snowstorms that plow's gonna come by and rip those catch basins out. So we're trying to get them to come back and take the back plates off, put a flush back plate on so that the plow doesn't do that. So that's what we're in discussions with them now. Hopefully we'll get that. We've already Jeremy's already been in discussions with Tom and Mark regarding that. So if it doesn't happen before then we're aware of it and hopefully we'll stay away from it, and then we'll take care of it so it'll be an easy run for them once we get those backstops off and a flat plate put on.
Great. Question about, you say it's done so they started at Pine, is that right?
They start from south and work
South.
their way up to Pine.
To Pine,
Yep.
okay, and that will be the end of that project. Then you'll go south towards Park, right?
Mhm.
Towards that way.
Yeah.
And so the work that they did was separating out storm and sewer work from that?
Yes, was yeah.
And tell me, help me to understand, because it's the first time since I've been mayor that we've done one of this. Can you help me with, what do they have to, so clearly it was originally built and the storm water led into our sewer
Mhm.
water, right? And we're separating that out. Are we putting dry wells in, or what
Dry
is it?
wells.
Is it dry wells?
Correct.
Okay. So they're not necessarily connected to some of the pipes that lead down to the canal.
systems.
It's
Mhm.
just dry walls.
Correct.
So how many dry walls from Pine to,
Well, this is a little different, whereas, normally when we have an area where we go put a dry well and we just put it in that area.
okay,
These catch basins are actually a collection of pipes that act as the whole dry well.
Okay.
Not just the storm catch basin.
okay.
It's a collection of pipes that have perforations in them that'll let the
That were
water
already
settle out
there,
through them.
or
No,
that are
no,
being
these were
put in?
If you go, you can see how you have a catch basin here, and then it goes over to here, and then comes down to here, and then goes across. You can see how the street is all torn up and it's patchworked.
Okay,
So and that's the pipes are going interconnected between these storm drains.
gotcha.
And it'll give more area for the water to be able to percolate down through.
So the new pipes actually have the holes in them.
Correct.
So that's the drainage for the system?
Yes.
Well, that's a good idea, though.
Mhm.
Probably
great.
surface area is comparable to.
Yeah, so it's a lot, and the soil is very advantageous for that.
Right.
The soil that's under that, in
Yeah,
that
it's very-
particular area?
Very sandy.
Okay. And,
Interesting.
wow, that is, and, do we have any, I assume that we had it engineered so that we are comfortable with the heavy rainfalls that we're getting in 2022 and 2023, that it'll drain fairly well, that there won't be, or is there a plan in case all of a sudden we start getting flooding in that, well, first of all, do we have flooding that typically is in the Pine to
Not that
South
I'm aware,
Street area?
but Jeremy might be a better
Okay.
source for that.
All right.
I'm not aware of any that I've gotten any calls from
haven't had
residents in
any
that
beforehand?
area, so.
Right.
um,
I was curious about that same question too, like what's the, hopefully this is just fine and it sounds like it should be, what's the one more step? Is it an enormous, complex, expensive thing to get a pipe to lead into something if that ever becomes the case?
Yeah,
or-
like would you dig one dry well in the middle of that set of pipes if flooding started to occur on south and around that area?
I'm certain that we could, but I'm not sure the reason behind this is,
So that you don't need to.
so we don't need to, number one,
Right.
and number two, and probably because trying to get it all the way to the canal wasn't going to be an easy task.
Yeah.
Sure.
And probably rather expensive,
Yeah.
so.
But
Right.
that's.
This is the area that we're looking at. I know, the city in the past has looked at different, properties to put some of these huge dry wells in, or
Mhm.
holding,
Yeah,
areas,
berms, right?
yeah.
Holding areas.
holding
right?
areas, yeah.
Yep.
So, underground also, these massive, new technology.
Okay.
Piping systems.
And so with the work that we've done so far, we've covered we've put the pipes in,
Mhm.
covered it up, separated them originally from the storm,
Yeah,
from the
sanitary,
sewer,
yeah.
from the sewer line. And now we've covered it, and we won't do the full paving of that area and the sidewalk until we're done with all this work
Yes.
from Pine all the way to Park.
Yep.
Is that right? At the current plan?
Mhm.
Okay. So we're just covering it up enough get through our winter.
Correct.
And you're trying to get them to come back and get a more level plate in the areas so that it doesn't get caught.
Because the way that if you drive down Elm Street, you'll see that one of them's just a little bit out from the curb line. So we're afraid a plow blade can clip that. And, number
Okay.
one, probably wreck the catch basin. Number two, give the driver quite a shock.
Yeah, Joel,
Quite a jolt.
does Tom, did you talk to Tom?
I think I talked to Jeremy a little while ago. He said he talked to Mark.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
and we plan on getting together with Tom and Mark to see what we can do, and also Carter, who Jeremy's been in constant contact with, to see what we can do.
Okay.
They were looking at ordering those plates from the manufacturer. I think he said something like they come from England or something, so they weren't available. So they were going to try to manufacture something in their shop to
Okay.
get us through the winter.
Okay, great. Any other questions? And next on the agenda is the Broad Street Car Wash.
Oh, how apropos. Jeremy and I met with representatives from CT Mail regarding a Hoffman Car Wash on Broad Street. They came in, they told us the plan and stuff, but just preliminary about,
It's just
what their-
preliminary,
just
right? They
preliminary,
just
yes,
went,
yeah.
was it architectural review is the first thing they did, or forget which?
They'll do a
one?
sketch plan.
Sketch
Yeah,
plan,
did sketch
sorry,
plan,
thank you.
yeah. And, basically, came to us just to tell us and make us aware. We brought up a bunch of our concerns that we had, obviously water usage and spikage and things of that nature, and disposing of, the water coming to us. They talked about roughly using about 30% of the water, recycling it that they use in the car washes, and that's what, I guess, an industry standard that they've come up with to recycle as much as they can. We were just basically listening and made some comments that we, experienced in the past. I know Chris has dealt with, a couple of car washes in the past about, what they discharge to us, and basically, normally we don't get impacted on them unless they're sucking out their wells, and that's the last time Chris and Christian had a problem here with one of the car washes. So,
Which car wash?
it was a Hoffman, the one on
Over
Quaker.
on Quaker.
Mhm. One of the haulers, I think,
Right.
probably went too deep, and probably sucked off the bottom of the well they were sucking out, and took all the grime and metals and things that were in the bottom of it, and dumped here. Chris, if you wanted, you were more involved with that than I
Yeah,
was.
hauler empty, we took down the oil water separator, sucked it all the way dry, so all that sand and metals, oil that's in the oil water separator, was brought down here, which is against a permit. And, that we had fined that hauler a hefty amount for doing that, and, we pulled that stuff back out and sent it back to them.
So,
They were not happy about that.
Yeah, fair enough. I kind of remember, I think, you talking about that. So, in this particular case, first of all, have we separated storm and sewer water on that part of Broad Street yet?
Yes.
We've already done it. And so, is in their plans, when they're done with, they're recycling a lot of their own water.
About 30%.
And when they're done recycling it, is the water that comes off of their property would be wastewater,
Yes.
not storm water,
No, it'll be wastewater.
right?
Yeah.
And we would charge them based on, we charge everybody based on the in clean water they use. And what are the chemicals they use in their process of washing cars? I assume that when we have a company like Ames Goldsmith, there's chemicals. We have a list of chemicals they use, and we mandate certain things based on that. What does car wash tend to? Is there extra monitoring? Is there chemicals in there that are coming into our stormwater that or our wastewater?
Most of their chemicals are standard chemicals. They're not using anything that's containing metals, nothing that's really environmentally hazardous. It's pH adjustments, stuff like that, using some acids, some bases, soap, stuff like that. So coming to us, it's really inert.
It's not a
No.
It's not a big concern as if this was a chemical plant or something else.
No,
A
it's-
brewery,
It's not
right?
part of our
Like a
industrial-
brewery would be a much bigger concern, yes?
That, where that is going, where they're requesting to be located at, is below the partial flume metering pit for Queensberry. We have an agreement with Queensberry that I believe it's up in 2025, 2026. The agreement was that if it started to back up on the Queensberry side, they had to change that out, or 10 years. 10 years is coming up next year. So they're gonna have to do some work in that area anyways.
Queensberry's gonna have to.
Queensberry will.
They have to increase the size of the pipe, I believe, from a
Correct.
12 to a 15.
Yes.
As their sewage uses continue off of exit 18.
Yeah, and that's based, you know, the 10-year, it was either flow or 10 years based off the partial flume.
Yeah, this was done in 2015, the contract was signed.
And does that have any effect on or have anything to do with the car wash? Or are you just mentioning that because I'm talking about the brewery?
I'm just mentioning it because there should be some work done in that area.
Anyway.
Starting next year. That would not be related to the car wash, but somewhere somebody will mention that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the car wash, is this a business that requires special monitoring or anything?
No, it's not listed under industrial pretreatment program. Car
Right
washes.
now, we are actually taking Moreau's Car Wash for the Hoffman that just opened down there. That is coming to us.
Okay.
That will be going to Saratoga once they finish their line.
Take
Well,
Quaker Road
maybe
too.
not, because according to their thing, they just halted all the combining of their 5 water systems.
Districts.
They just stopped all that until they
Well,
could think about it more.
That's what it will be in extension 5, and I don't know if they stopped the laying of the pipe.
Right.
If that continues, that will go to Saratoga.
Yeah, right.
which, I mean,
Yeah.
from what Hoffman was saying at their planning board meeting, it's about 45 gallons of water per car. Recycling 1/3 of that means about 30 gallons of water per car.
And
And they were saying they could run about 160 cars an hour through a car wash. They just speed it up a little bit. So at that rate, I think my estimation was 50,000 gallons a day that we would receive from
and what would that have any effect on us? No.
No, but it was, as Chris was saying, it was pretty interesting how that it's monitored and dependent, and they were saying it's dependent on how many cars they have, you know, in line or how it gets backed up, and, you know, how they can speed it up or slow it down depending on the volume of cars.
The water usage.
No, the way the water usage plus the fact is how quickly they move the cars through.
Gotcha.
So
They're
we'll
busy.
be billing them on the water usage minus 30%?
No, we're gonna be billing them on, the water they use. So,
Right, but the sewer would be billed water usage minus 30%.
would have to look at that, yeah, because then you'd have to see.
I was
it.
actually
We would
thinking
bill
that
them
the
on
other way.
meter, by meter, whatever they use
Yeah.
on meter.
Okay, so they're gonna
And
meter the
sewer
discharge?
would be more equivalent, because if you're recycling water means that you're be putting less through the meter.
Right.
Yeah.
The metering gotta be a lot better, cleaner way, right?
Yes.
Now, are we gonna have any problem with that 12-inch main coming down through?
I don't think 50,000 gallons a day will, spread over the 24 hours will.
I think it'll actually help that main coming down, because
Keep it
if we
cleaner.
clean that main, we had debris settle down in there, because the main was put in way back, it's larger than it needs to be, so that will help flush that out and stop the settling,
We'll scour it a little better.
or scour.
Are we liable for that if there is an issue? I mean, it
We'll have to look at the
it intersects
agreement.
right in front of Hannaford, right?
Where's the monitoring of that main sewer pipe? I know you only have them in certain sections of the city, so where do we, is there a measurement of how much sewage comes through that Broad
Yeah,
Street
there's a
corridor?
there should be a meter in there.
Oh, there's a meter coming from Queensbury, but I don't think we have a meter now.
There's
No,
nothing.
because there was a battle. over
Just
who was
from
gonna pay for the
Queensbury.
meter.
Yeah, there's nothing past that.
Way back here, so I remember that, much of it.
All right. So 50,000 gallons sounds like a lot to me. It's not a lot to us.
Now, that would be maximum flow, sir, of, you have 160 cars an hour for 12 hours.
Right, okay.
Which, that most likely is not gonna happen.
Right. What kind of, do we have any other, do we have any idea what the car wash across the street uses?
No, because they're a manual, and then you have the automatic one, but that's a different setup than what they're doing.
Right, but I just wondered what they
Go back through the bills and
Go through the
figure it
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
just to see,
Yeah, but
right?
it's, I would say it's a, you know,
I would roughly
Drop in the
estimate
bucket
it,
compared
on
to
a good
how-
day,
Yeah.
you'll get 30,000 gallons of water probably on average.
Right. Okay.
What was the cement company using a day?
What were they using?
Way more than that?
A lot.
50?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, they had an 8-inch main going in there, you know, they were using a lot of water. And I mean, I was there because we were looking at some things, I was over there, because they had called about, we talked about it, the well, but they found out another line so I don't believe they're gonna be looking at drilling the well or anything like that, but they had a huge 8-inch line going, all exposed, going up and over their property, so they had to be using a lot of it to make sure
Didn't
that line
freeze?
didn't freeze.
yeah.
And where are we gonna, now that line's turned off, are we gonna drain from our end of it so that it doesn't?
We should be good from our end because, you know, our end is buried, so. I saw the meter pit's, you know, right by that, one building on Warren,
Right.
so we should be good.
So
Shouldn't be any issue with ours.
You don't think that, well, I know with ours it's gonna be good, but if ours is full from where we turned our section off.
The meters, the two valves are shut off.
I gotcha.
In the meter pit.
Okay, okay.
And then from the meter pit, that's buried about, I would say the meter pit was probably down 6-7
Feet, yeah.
And then.
Not this winter.
And then it ran probably 100 yards underground before it came up.
Okay. 5 personnel, I don't believe we have any personnel.
I don't have anything.
I got one more thing though. We got up in the industrial park, they're talking about putting another microbrewery in up there. So I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
I was just reading about it.
It hasn't gone in front of the planning board yet, Queensbury
Um,
Planning.
It is not connected to the wastewater system. They're on a septic tank.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Cause they must be,
There was discussion about connecting it to the wastewater system, but because they're not part of the sewer district, that's all kind of legal stuff. And right now, they do not intend on connecting to it. I'm gonna find out more. I just read it 10 minutes before I came
okay.
here.
Cause
So
I
they
talked to
would be
one of
on
the
a s-
building owners up there today on the road, and he said their sewer bills are going up, and the reason they gave him was they had to do infrastructure work down through there.
Yeah, that's what I wanna find out. Are they extending that? Was there an extension put in or not? I'm unsure, because, they're talking about putting stuff in totes, and it's a planning board minutes I'm reading. I don't have factual. Chris Harrington will be able to tell me what I.
Yeah, okay. You're on top of it, huh?
Yes.
Good.
They can't just extend that sewer line without paying us, right?
I don't know those rules, sir.
Aye.
Let me say it to you then. You can't extend our sewer line.
Well, it's not our line, their line.
Queensbury's
It's a
line.
Queensbury.
They can hook up new oh, they can.
No, we're supposed to approve any new hookups, but they can extend the line.
Gotcha.
As long as it's within their capacities.
Yeah.
And do we get notified? Is that they have to notify a certain
Yeah.
amount of time and so then we'd start, we have a place to test, test that?
It's gonna be the same.
Have we had any problems since, the summertime? Was the last time we talked about it? I
No,
missed-
we haven't.
No problems.
No problems.
All right. I don't think we need to go in executive session. Anybody else have any other questions, comments? Next proposed meeting is Water and Sewer Special Meeting Tuesday, January 16th, 2 p.m. And then our regular wastewater treatment board, Monday, February 5th. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.